following is a paid program. Views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of CBS Radio, its sponsors, or affiliates.
All righty, welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Good morning, everyone out there. I'm Harvey Friedman. To my right, Mr. Harry Glanz.
Morning, Harv. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic here. We got a really great show here today. A little bit different. Mr. Nafusi had to head out to New York for a fundraiser, and we bring in James Lutz from our office.
A little upgrade.
Okay, you say so.
I got to mess with Alex him. I know. He's probably out there listening.
Oh, this could be a fun week next week. We'll definitely we'll go with that clip. We'll be playing that at the meeting. And thanks for bringing in Mario Catullo from Keller Williams out at the Lakeside office. Hey, Mario, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, it's great to have you, Mario. Again, we kicked it around. We talked a little on Wednesday and then again last night. And it's always fun to talk to new agents out there. You know, you've been around a couple of years now and find out what your perspective is on how to work with buyers and sellers and truly what's going on out there. And I like your energy. We also talked about some funny things that go on in transaction and some bad things and a little buyer beware stuff. So tons to share with you all morning long.
Yeah, you know, he brings great energy. He's a young guy. We like it. James Lutz comes in. These guys come in. As soon as you come in the studio, they kick you. They like jumpstart you. You feel invigorated, Harvey, because you and I have been doing this a long time. We got to get new energy going.
Yeah, well, we actually spoke about that yesterday, Mario. We said new energy, and we said, you know, there's so many new agents out there, but then there's a lot of old agents that, you know, maybe...
Hey, now, be careful, brother.
Real old, maybe really
when
older.
I said new energy, I just meant, you know, I didn't mean throwing any old people, Harvey. I fall into that. I meant I like meeting new people. I like it when they're young and they're aggressive and they're hungry and they're smart and they're humble and they're doing all the right things. That's what I like.
All right. The new energy also brings some new innovative ways to sell a house, though, and some digital marketing things that are out there. And, of course, you sort of millennial type guys out there.
Thanks.
You're using you're definitely using a lot of the new technology out there. But everyone is. Everyone's using the technology. And more so, Mario, a lot of the buyers are coming to you, and they already seen so many houses online.
Yeah, that's how it works. You know, like they look up, you know, like everything online right now, and after that they're gonna have a lot of questions. You know. So how I do things, we will get together. You know, we'll find what their concerns are. There's obviously so many things in that process. And my job with the training that we have from Keller Williams Lakeside, we smooth up things for them. You know, so. First step I do, you know, like I get them to the office, I understand their concern, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what their needs are. There's several things. It could be they're growing a family, they need a bigger house. You know, right now I'm working with the family, actually, after the show. I have to show them some houses, and they want a bigger house. They're a huge family.
All right, so Mario, what we say is, I'm not interrupting you. I'm just going to have you expand on this. So you go in, you find out what a couple or a family or a single person, what their wants and needs are at that time.
Correct.
And then what their goals are, how long they're going to stay in the house, the area they want to live in, the school district, if applicable, and then you put together a plan for them.
Correct.
You just don't start showing them houses. I don't care how many houses you look at on the internet or whatever. You need to know what their specific needs are, correct?
Correct. That's very true. You know, so we noted all that for them. Again, bedrooms, bathrooms, what the needs are, and we set them up on a certain search, you know, to fit their criteria. And based on that, you know, they're going to receive, you know, like some notification from the markets. And then, you know, like obviously we going to get into the mortgage and the finance, you know, like aspect, and to make sure they're all situated. And from there, we take them to see houses and we'll get what they need.
Right. A lot of opportunities. We talked about this time of year being sort of unique. And we've had a milder winter maybe the last couple of years, but definitely there's less inventory on the marketplace. And we spoke about it last night. We said,
correct.
Well, there's just a lot of group of people out there, whether you're selling, you just don't want to have to pack up during the rougher months. Maybe we have a short window here of another 60 days before the rougher weather sets in.
Sure. Well, historically, you know, they think, you know, we don't want to move. It's cold, but there's always opportunity. You know, you have some people that are building new houses. So in 30 days could be, you know, they're done. You know, they need to move out. You know, and at this point, you know, they're going to put it back on the market. And there's always buyers looking for an opportunity. Yeah. So we take it on that aspect. You know, definitely there's less inventory right now, but there's always people looking to buy houses.
You know, Mauro, less inventory or less quality inventory, we argue that, or we debate it, or we talk about it, or we converse about it every single week. The thing that we're seeing is that you have a lot of buyers out there that are still very serious, and you have a lot of sellers that are serious. If somebody has their house on the market in November, December, January, February, they're very serious about selling that house. If you have somebody looking at houses, obviously, they're serious about buying the house. I see a strong winter ahead of us. You can already tell the chill's in the air, Harvey. It's, and James, you guys, it's cold out.
Yep.
It's getting cold out. Last weekend was the last nice weekend that we're having. It's cold out. It's football weather. We're going into the fall. Halloween's this week. Guess what? It's cold. But if you're buying a house and you're out there and you're serious, there's going to be sellers that are serious too. I see this makes for a great ending of 2017.
Yeah. I was just telling Mario, guys, I did an open house last weekend, and it was probably busier than I've seen even in the summer.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great
They're
news.
still out there, and I like no excuses. Even a lot of agents and a lot of mortgage guys, a lot of people in our industry, winter comes, oh, that's my excuse. Business is slow, winter.
Nope.
I liked his answer.
Yep.
I liked it. There is no
I
excuse.
like you saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's not slow everywhere, and there's lots of opportunities out there. We talked about a lot of different things regarding even new construction. Some of the homes are going to be completed over the next couple months.
Correct.
So, yeah, if they still have to sell their house in order to move forward with their transaction on the new construction, there's an opportunity. And if they didn't take an offer in the summertime because the terms didn't work out, they didn't get the price they wanted, maybe they didn't get the fact that they needed to stay there until their house was done, those are opportunities for buyers out there to maybe even, if it's 30, 60 days away from them completing their new construction, that gives you an opportunity as a buyer to get in there and make that deal.
Harvey, we all drive neighborhoods. That's what we do. We like driving neighborhoods. We like looking at houses. It's just what we do. If you're driving a neighborhood, you're seeing a lot of new construction. I don't care where you go in metropolitan Detroit. Macomb County is really hot.
Yep.
Okay? And if you're driving neighborhoods, you're seeing construction out there. Let me say this. Builders want to sell houses. All right, go try to make your best terms, put in a good offer, make your best terms, and you're going to come away with a house. So, like we said, and going back to it, every week we say, is there a lack of inventory or a lack of quality inventory? So, but I wouldn't rush into it either. If it's not for you, don't buy it. Right, Mario?
Correct. Absolutely. I actually this true story. I have a client right now. They put their house on the market in the summer. Where people they think they're gonna get top dollars and gonna get sold really quick. It did not sell. So when it did not sell, they contacted me. We redid everything for them. From the market analysis and pull up comps in the market, and we are in the process to close next month in November. So it did not sell. They tested the market, but they finished their brand new house in Bruce Township, and now they're going to sell it. So
now the opportunity. So maybe they started at a little bit higher price in the summertime, seeing if they could get some bites at the higher.
That's very true. That's another issue, where the sellers, they think they can get whatever they ask for. And it does not work that way. That's when we come in place as realtors, and we explain to them, how the market is and what the buyers are willing to pay at that time in this area.
Yep.
So, yep.
And we're definitely purchase experts. We'd love to hear from you. 248-539-9797. We take all your calls all morning long. It's going to be tons of sports and college football here all day long, and maybe in some World Series stuff later this afternoon or later this evening. So that's going to be good stuff.
Yeah, another great game last night.
It's unbelievable. The baseball is just great stuff. And hey, you know what? In a couple years, we're going to be back here talking baseball here in downtown. So lots of good things happening across Southeast Michigan. Come and join the show. Again, we are brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Give us a call. We have an office full of loan officers willing to help you. Talk about debt consolidation. We've seen a lot of that lately. And use that equity that's in your house. That's really key, is that so many families out there that have purchased these homes in the last several years have built-in equity now. And people are calling me, and I'm running credit reports. And yeah, if you're carrying a lot of this debt going into the holiday season, maybe now's the time, Harry. We so often talk about the Fed. The Fed's talking about moving rates. We're already, all indications are December that Fed funds are going to be moving up. Also,
rates are going up.
There's two guys bidding for the job of Fed funds chairman.
Rates are going up.
Janet Yellen. Mr. Glanz says lock in.
Rates are going up. I would tell you, lock in right now. Rates are going to go up, and we're seeing that. Again, I mean, I hear this guy on the radio all the time. He keeps telling me rates aren't going down to zero. Rates are not going down to zero, that's for sure. They're not even going to go down. If they do, it's a bonus, but they're not. They're going to go ahead and they're going to continue. They're going to start to rise, and when they start going up, they go up. They always go up faster than they come down.
Isn't that weird?
We always it's a slippery slope. We always say there's three things rates can do. They can go up, down, or stay the same. Okay?
That's it.
Only one of them's bad.
Right.
Okay. Only one of them's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So currently one of them's bad. And when I say that, is it really bad if it goes from 4% to 4.25%. Not really, but I'd rather have 4 than 4.25%. But bottom line is, you got to do something. If you're sitting on the fence right now, don't sit on the fence, because when you sit on a fence, it hurts. It's kind of funny. Come on.
I like that one.
Sit on a fence, it hurts.
Yeah.
Don't be a fence sitter. Do something now if you can. But also, I will tell you that if you do have equity in the home and you need to pay off what we call toxic debt, 18% credit card debt, if you've got a home improvement loan to pay off, if you've got things that you have to do, student loans, your tuition, there are certain things that make sense to do. I wouldn't use your house as a cash register, take the money out, go on a vacation, and then, come on. We learned from that before. Our human behavior says don't do that again.
All righty. Hey, 248-539-9797. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We got tons to share with you.
97.1 The Ticket.
It's time to stand up against our nation's drug epidemic.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All righty, welcome back to the show. If you're just joining us, 9:32 here. Good morning. Sort of a beautiful day out there and a beautiful weekend. We're going to get one more of these for sure in.
Could be the last hurrah.
Could be, but again, a beautiful fall day out there. Call Capital Mortgage. Get that approval letter. If you're working with a real estate agent and you don't have your approval letter, they're going to urge you, make sure you get an approval letter from a local lender. That's going to give you the most amount of negotiation. And go with a trusted one like Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. I got some comments on that stuff, too, here if you want to. My comments were that Fannie Mae did an actual survey. They were surveying a lot of millennials, the ages of 18 to 34, to sort of interesting what the responses were, but they put a lot of trust. They put 32% of the people said that they trust what their mortgage banker says. 30% trusted their real estate agent, and then it trickles down all the way to friends and family.
So what do you mean? Does that mean 68% of the people don't trust their mortgage banker?
No, it means that
70% don't trust their realtor?
62% of the folks out there are getting their information from real estate agents and mortgage bankers.
Okay.
Deal with somebody who's been around a long, long time. Again, it's not always a friend or a family, and deal with a local lender. I think that's a key. If you wanted to comment on that.
It is imperative to use a lender that you can trust, has a great reputation, that's held in a high regard. Again, if you have 5 offers that you're competing against and your pre-approvals from a lending institution that's less than reputable, you're just not going to get an opportunity.
Brad, are there certain lenders that you see a pre-approval from that you just know you're like, I'm skeptical right out the gate?
There are numerous that I see right off the get-go that I'm just...
Let me ask you this. Is it not only in real estate, not only in mortgages, let's talk about life. Let's talk about if you get a referral on anything.
Yeah.
Don't you want to go with somebody that's trusted? It's just not the real estate mortgage industry. It's anything.
I think it's any field. I agree.
If you're going to anything, if you're going to a doctor, lawyer, or an Indian chief, you want to go to the best one, and you want to go somebody that's going to fit your need, that specializes in your area. So why not? I mean, it's just not in real estate and mortgage banking. I know I'm getting crazy on this, but it's really anything.
I like
On Game Day Uncensored. Pat Caputo and Braylon Edwards preview all the day's important matchups. Mike Valenti takes you up to game time with hard-hitting opinions and the truth behind the storylines. After the game, get all the analysis on your Lions and the rest of the league on the Game Day Uncensored postgame show with Jeff Rieger. Game Day Uncensored. Sundays on 97.1 The Ticket.
Download the allnewradio.com app and listen to 97.1 The Ticket anytime, anywhere.
97.1 The Ticket.
All righty, welcome back to the show, 9:17. If you're just joining us, it's Saturday, October 28th. We call this sort of our Halloween weekend show.
Love Halloween. Big Halloween costume party coming up on Tuesday at the office.
Oh, yeah, a lot of fun.
I know it's our 25th and annual Halloween costume. And, you know, we have bringing lunch. Everybody dresses up. We give away prizes. It's a lot of fun. We like dressing up.
Yeah, this weekend here, Michigan definitely sort of one of those Halloween states. I know people go to town with it, dressing up their house and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. Be safe out there, obviously. Check the candy when the kids come home. Do all those safe things and make it a great Halloween. Come and join the show, 248-539-9797. We always talk about mortgages and real estate, and of course, the headlines back even a couple months ago that the sales were stuck in these 2-year lows. Oh, my Lord. Well, once you know that the last 4 to 5 years have been historically like off the charts. I mean, so to keep up with the numbers from the previous 2 or 3 years is definitely going to be challenging. The National Association of Realtors, Lawrence Young, he always has his comments weekly, and he says it's still a pretty challenge out there due to the lack of inventory for even the first-time home buyers. We saw those great opportunities for investors and people that wanted to buy rental homes. And I don't know if you've worked with a few of those lately, Mario, but there's no doubt over the last 6 years, I mean, you're able to steal properties across Southeast Michigan. Now you're a landlord. So there are all those opportunities out there. I don't know if you've worked with some people looking to buy rental homes recently.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. We have them all over. There's opportunity. Again, you know, like we keep talking about it, you know, like there's always opportunities. Investors now, you know, like I'm working with a few investors. They're looking for good deals and renovation, you know, and put it back in the market. So that's definitely, it's still available.
Yep, and we have those renovation loans at Capital Mortgage Funding. Be sure to call our office all weekend long at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Again, find out how you can get rid of PMI on your mortgage. That's really key out there. Or if you have an FHA loan, maybe now qualify for a conventional loan. So many families went through those horrible times here when we had our recession in 2007, about 2010. And some families are still just getting over that hump. But we always want to extend a hand to tell you, you can buy a house. Look, if you had a bankruptcy or foreclosure in the past, it's very likely that you still qualify for a mortgage. Again, not if you had it yesterday, but there are guidelines and time restraints. But
there's nothing wrong with making a phone call. If you're unsure, just pick up the phone and call, email us, whatever you have to do. Just ask the question. If you don't ask the question, you know, do I qualify? Can I get rid of PMI? Can I take cash out? What's my house worth? You know, everybody has, and Mara, this is the first question I ask every brand new person on the phone. You know, what's my house worth? Well, everybody thinks their house is worth more than it really is. And we talk about property values. And, you know, yesterday I had a situation come up in the office, and it comes up almost hourly. We did a loan for somebody last year, and they want to take cash out. But, you know, we did the house last year at a price for $196,000. And all of a sudden this year, the person, they think their house is going to price for $30,000 more. Well, where do people get that it's going to price for 15% more? I mean, I just don't understand it. So, of course, we did the appraisal. The appraisal came in at $206,000.
That's more.
So it's more. It went from $196,000 to $206,000. Well, here's the deal. If all your neighbors that sold their house in your neighborhood sold for $205,000, $206,000, guess what your house is worth?
$206,000.
Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, come on. I mean, you have to be reasonable about it, too. We were still able to do a transaction for somebody, but, you know, it's kind of like this. We'll do the appraisal. We'll take care of everything. And, you know, we want it to come out higher. We don't want it to come out lower, but it's going to come out what it's going to come out at. So, Mario, when you're selling a new house, you enter into a purchase agreement. Do you meet that appraiser at the house with listing tickets, or what do you do?
Yes, for sure. You know, if I'm, of course, when I represent the seller, you know, like I make sure you like do the study, you know, like make sure pull up comps, and I will meet the appraisal at the house. You know, like I want to give them the list of the comps, not to let them know how to do their jobs, But, like I would like to give them some receipts, invoices, whatever the homeowner had done, like from upgrades, like I said, like I have a client, they made a lot of upgrades, like granite countertops, like stainless steel appliances, like all crown moldings, like a hardwood. These are valuable things, but of course we got to, like go with the guideline and with whatever available on the market.
Right.
So just to talk about, like how a lot of sellers, they think their house is worth $30,000-$40,000 more than the market. I have one of them, my brother. He owns a condo. He owns a condo.
I love he's calling out his brother. I love it.
He did some great upgrades on his condo. And then he thinks whatever he put, that's what's gonna increase the value of it. It doesn't work that way. You have to check in like how much the condos are going in that sub, and based on that, like with providing the appraisal with the list of upgrades, that it will help, finding the right price.
Yeah, is he going to be selling it or?
No, he's not. Like he's just, like how Harry said, like a lot of people that curious, how much is my condo worth? That's when we come and play and do the market study for them.
Right. Yeah. Especially condominiums more subject to because they're very similar to the other units. When you're talking condominium projects.
Correct.
Maybe the only difference is all 50 of them are 2 bedrooms, 50 of them are 3 bedrooms. And that's what your unit's probably going to sell for. Even like you said, even if it's dressed up with the gorgeous crown molding and all the features as
that's my
fancy
favorite.
Appliances, granite countertop. Now they're using quartz countertops. They're telling me that granite's not even in anymore, and you have to have quartz. So again, all those fancy features that you put in the house are for your enjoyment.
Exactly.
And again, you might not be able to get dollar for dollar when you sell the house, but you'll enjoy them when you're living there. And when the next person comes and views the home, it would definitely sell. A dressed up home, a home that's been updated. That's what everyone's looking for nowadays, and those homes are going to sell quicker.
Exactly. We call it move-in ready condition. Simple as that. Now, especially like we were talking about, I want to touch bases, like on easy getting mortgages right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have a client. She was renting. Her rent was $1,000. Seriously, $1,000, and
it's actually a good deal.
Yeah,
right.
It's
right.
a good deal because she's been there, for like 3-4 years.
Okay,
that's what happened. And then she always thinks she can't get a mortgage. She talked to a lender, she got a mortgage, and I got her a house. Like half of her rent. Seriously,
right,
half of her rent. So rates are good right now. We have the down payment, like 3.5%, like an FHA.
Right.
Yeah.
So many great opportunities.
Yeah, so people, Harry, they always say, listen, I can make the payment. I can handle the monthly payment on a house, but I just have a problem coming up with the down payment. There are so many programs out there. There are so many programs Harvey and I see every day where you can come up with very small down payment. Now, you have to have good credit. You can't have bad credit and never pay your bills. You have to have good credit, have a good credit history, a good job. You have to show us the earnings. There's no documentation loans out there. All right. So you have to do things the right way. And like you said, you can get them into a house. Anybody who can qualify for a mortgage wants to buy a house, and vice versa. If you want to buy a house and qualify for a mortgage, there's plenty of programs out there. So you're seeing it more now than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure.
Hey, we have open lines all morning long here, 248-539-9797. I like where we're going with this because, many families don't know that they can actually move forward. And if you're going to be here, if you're not, you're not someone who's subject to be moving or a job transfer, anything like that, if you plan on staying here, raising your family, you definitely got to find out where you fit into it. Can you maintain a house? Can you make the payment on time? Yeah, I'm sure you can. Can you maintain the house? And is this something that you'd be interested in doing? Again, home ownership, a sense of community. It's what's so great about home ownership, and knowing your neighbors and your kids are playing with all the kids in the neighborhood, and then it into the high school, and now I get to bring up high school football, Harry. Because
who won last night?
West Bloomfield did beat Bloomfield Hills last night, but we'll throw that out there.
Well, that was a payback for earlier in the year when Bloomfield Hills beat West Bloomfield.
They did hand it to them earlier, and a lot of that was the first round of the playoffs, and again, a lot of excitement here in Southeast Michigan. If your kids are high school football players and you want to brag about a score, give us a call, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Welcome back to the show, 9:32. If you're just joining us, not the greatest looking day out there, but hey, it's fall here in Michigan. Get out there and enjoy. If you need an approval letter, be sure to call Capital Mortgage Funding. We're going to talk about that. There's a real difference between approval letters and pre-qualification, so we got a lot to share with you. Come and join the show at 248-539-9797.
Was that your neighbor that asked that question?
Yeah, Juliet. She's a
maybe that
cool
banana
agent.
bread.
she
I want that banana bread.
Right, she can bake. She's a great mom. She's cool, but she always keeps us on our toes. Hey, Lee, speaking about that, a lot of different programs out there. As you know, down payment programs with zero down on the USDA loans. I wanted to say that Capital Mortgage Funding, our organization is part of the #1 lender in most units of USDA loans. Zero down loans. They do have income limits, but really across Michigan, not in the rural areas, not in the city.
It has to be a rural area.
Yeah, in a rural area. But all our counties have them here, including basically all of Livingston, pretty much all of Washington, Wayne, Macomb, and Oakland do have parts that fit in this program. So lots of zero down program, but 3% down conventional, 3.5% down FHA. It's a great time to buy a house.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of, because everyone says, do you guys offer that? Do you offer that? The answer is yes for you guys. You have a program for it, and you'll make it work.
For everything. And then I'm talking about some other things, Lee. We talked about some just reduced signs out there. Hey, there's nothing around. This time of year, we do see a lot of real estate signs and names out there, and they're buying a lot of just reduced. So, I mean, maybe that is the sign that, hey, these houses that were, everyone was fighting over, whatever's left come September, October, when the kids go back to school.
Lee, let's keep it real here, okay?
Like
if you went through the spring selling season, the summer selling season, now you're in the fall and you haven't sold your house and the market's hot, and you put on a just reduced sign, chances are
your house was overpriced.
Your house was a little too high.
Yeah, the market is a moving target. People always say, what's my house worth? And I can tell them what their house is worth today, but it's going to change. But if you sit through that this summer, and your house is still on the market, it's time to look in the mirror and face some serious facts. Either you're crazy or your realtor's crazy, or you guys just aren't living in the real world.
Or maybe you're just fishing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you stuck a line in the water. Maybe you got a bite. Maybe you didn't.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? Is anything wrong with that?
I think there's a huge problem with that. And the reason I say is your home price is either going to go up or down. And the second I see what your house was listed at and it's been sitting, I'm never, ever, ever going to give you asking price. Never. My clients aren't going to give you asking price. No one is. The second they see that your house has been there 15, 30, 45 days, the instant question I get is, what's wrong with that house?
Yeah, why is it sitting?
What's wrong? What's wrong?
Well, you got to get a second opinion in there. Luckily, we know that there's been a rash, 2,000 to 3,000 brand new agents right here in the Tri-County area. I mean, maybe there is a difference between someone who's brand new and someone who's got some additional experience that can bring some additional opinions to what's going on with the transaction or no transaction.
Lee Harvey and
The Ticket.
Brought to you by University of Detroit Jesuit High School. Both the Spartans and Wolverines with conference matchups this afternoon. Homecoming in Ann Arbor as Rutgers comes to town noon for the kickoff. We'll have it for you right here on 97.1 at 3:30. The Spartans are in Evanston to see Northwestern. MSU still unbeaten in conference play. Northwestern 4-3 overall. They're 2-2. In the Big Ten, Red Wings and Pistons both back in action tonight. Wings and Sunrise to see the Florida Panthers. Puck drops at 7. Pistons out west for a 3-game trip that gets started this evening at 10:30. They'll have the Clippers at Staples Center. You can hear both games right here on 97.1. And World Series Game 3 last night in Houston. The Astros take a 2-1 lead on the Dodgers after a 5-3 victory. Lance McCullers got the win for Houston. Game 4 is tonight at 8:20. I'm Jake Chapman. More at 10 or at 97.1theticket.com.
Follow The Ticket on Facebook and Twitter at 971theticket.com.
All right, welcome back to the show, 931. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Yeah, we're in our 17th season, coming up in our 18th season this January.
Yeah, but you can tell the difference between us and a pro like Jake Chapman.
Oh, yeah,
he's smooth.
He's the pro, yeah.
He has the dulcet tones that you want to hear.
Just
the
mortgage
octave
people,
level.
Harry. That's all we are.
We're mortgage guys and realtors. That's just what we do every day. He talks in a microphone every day for a living.
He knows what he's doing. 248-539-9797. If you want to join the show, we're getting a couple calls in here. Let's move on to a few of these. Let's go to David out in South Lyon for our board guy. There you are. Hey, David, good morning. Welcome to our show.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Real good. Just lower that radio a little bit, Dave.
Yeah, I got it off.
There you go.
Doing good, man. I was calling because, I think that about probably 20 years ago, I sold real estate for a little while. And now I know the market's changed since the bubble and things are a little different, but a lot of people have homes that are like unique in subdivisions, and they're not real similar to other, and they're supposed to be doing comps. And you had the other program going on about the condos where you guys were having the condos, and that's kind of an easy thing because everyone's a cookie cutter sort of situation in a condo. But these homes are different. How do you really value out of your home when your home's different than the other homes in the neighborhood and the comps aren't right? They just don't. There's just no real way for them to comp the house out, and I think that the houses are just being really underevaluated.
All right, so David, that's one of my favorite subjects, and you might have hit the nail right on the head, but specifically, it's easier, and I'm going to fall on the appraiser's side on this comment, it's easier to go ahead and, like you said, appraise a condo that's in a condo complex. It's easier also, should be, to appraise a home that's in a subdivision where other homes have sold and there are like houses. It's tougher if a house is on a main street in a rural area, in an area where houses haven't sold. So specifically, what are you seeing, and what are do you have a specific instance?
Yeah, here's the thing. I feel like it's a tough job for the realtors because they list the house and they maybe appraise the house or feel the house is worth a certain amount of value. And you find a buyer who's worth that amount of value, and then the appraisal comes in way lower than what you thought. Or you try to refinance your house and your SEV is higher than what the house is even showing. Like for instance, my SEV is like $237,000, but my house isn't appraised for $5,000. And it just doesn't really make any sense. And then they go and they try to do a comparison now, and I don't think these appraisers are doing their job, the due diligence. Yeah. They're not taking off the proper things for brick, for a basement, for this, that, and the other. It's supposed to be take 3 homes and compare them.
Well, there are guidelines that they have to go by. There are adjustments that they have to make. They have to go ahead and take the best comps, closest in proximity to the subject, the most recent sales. And when you talk about comparables, the house, the subject home that's being appraised has to be comparable. The comps have to be comparable to that house. So you can't take a ranch and get 3 colonials and say, okay, the house is worth $250. It doesn't work that way. I share your feelings. Yes. I hear your pain. I work on it all day long. And I will say that when our people bring me in appraisals and they say, hey, Harry, this value came in low, I take a look at it, I sit down, I comb over it, and 9 out of 10 times I say, you know what, it's a good appraisal.
Yeah. David, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it. And again, anyone out there, we want to hear your story.
One other question?
Yeah, sure. Jump in.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just want to. What can you do in a circumstance where you do get a bad appraisal because you're done? The guy gives you bad appraisal.
I want you to send it to me. I'm going to call you up.
I want to take a look at it. We rebut it. Okay, we go ahead and there's a rebuttal process that you have to do with the appraisal management company and the appraiser to go ahead and rebut the appraisal. Now, again, it's very rare. The appraisals are like artwork to these appraisers, all right? They put their name on it and they love it. And they get very emotional about it when you try to question them. Well, I'm the guy that's going to question them if it looks bad. We have to send them proper information. We have to do our homework, and we have to take a look at it.
And when we look about 7% each month, we're taking maybe 5 to 7%. We might take a look.
About less than 5%.
Okay.
And I will say out of that 5%, Harvey, if we're doing a few hundred a month, and I get to look at 2 or 3, maybe in a tough month it's 5.
Yeah, sometimes it's not
it's really
comparable sales.
low.
Yeah, we're going to move on. Hey, Dave, thanks for the call, though, but I'm going to call you after. Yeah, I want you to send me a copy of that appraisal, so I'll call you later today.
Yeah, I want that appraisal. I want to take a look at it, and I probably wouldn't be surprised because that's what I do every morning
Well,
when I get
like
in.
the idea that we brought up rebuttals. And again, this is for any of the real estate agents listening out there. That's why it's very important that you deal with reputable companies right here in Michigan. If you're working with buyers and they have approval letters from out of state, that's a disaster waiting to happen. Here's what we do. We're local to the community, so we're instantly go ahead and compare all comparable sales. And our appraisers are from these areas. So we're able to be Johnny on the spot quickly, do a rebuttal, and put smarter heads together, better information. And many times we're able to come a little bit closer to that purchase price. It does come up, and every agent who's doing business out there definitely has experienced some appraisal issues in the last couple of years.
Just
There's no
because somebody thinks their property's worth more doesn't mean it's worth more. I heard him say, Mario, that the realtor listed, they do all the hard work, they put the house on the market, and the appraisal comes in low. I think Mario is an experienced person, experienced realtors out there. They know the range the house is going to sell in. Now, the old argument is, well, why would somebody bring it in low? If somebody, it's what a willing seller is willing to sell the property to a willing buyer, that should be the market value.
Yeah, no,
doesn't work that way. That's called a sales price, an agreement on a sales price. The value of something, and that's why we go through the appraisal process, is we do our homework. I say we, I don't own an appraisal company. The independent appraiser goes ahead and does his homework or her homework and says, hey, look, based on this information that we have, current sales, the sales approach in the area, this is what it's worth. Most of the time, it comes out. Some of the time, it doesn't. And then we go ahead and there's a rebuttal process. And by the way, I like arguing it. I'll do it all day, every day.
Yeah, a lot of times.
But I've got to have something to argue. I'm not just going to go fight to fight. I mean, I go fight to win.
There's a couple interesting things, Mario. You and I spoke about that also, is sometimes you're in the same city and then there's those comps, but you're in a different school district, and the better school district could carry more value. So there are a lot of
you got to be careful with that, too.
That sometimes, right? Well,
you can't just say that. I mean, we cannot make statements like that. Okay? There's no value. I've never seen a value on a grid on an appraisal that says school district plus or minus 5,000.
However, they might those homes might be getting more money. Those homes might be getting better value because they're on the other side of the city. They just might be.
Yeah, just it depends. Yep. When you do the comps, you gotta narrow down. Like I do, 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms. Is it colonial ranch? It has a finished basement. Like what kind of a school district? That's when I run the comps. I have to put these in consideration. Like if the house it's like let's say 2,000 square feet. You can narrow the search. Like between 1,800 to 2,200. Just to pull like the closest data possible. Because again, that's what the appraisal will be looking at. So.
James, you actually talked about relationships and too. There's a shout out, obviously, to all the great agents out there that are loyal to their mortgage bankers and the people that they work with and stuff. But It is a relationship business. And, you guys work together great. I know you got a handful of really great agents that you work with, James. What do you like about Mario? I throw that at you.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. We actually met because we did a deal together for the first time a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And he just impressed me so much on the listing side that it made me want to work hard to get to know him as a personal relationship, because that's what this whole thing is about. I surround myself and I choose the agents that I work with. I've been doing this long enough to where I have that I'm fortunate to where I can, and I surround myself with people that have the same mindset, the same motivations, and he was so professional and level-headed the whole time. Everything went great. He was just very responsive.
There you go.
Pleasure to
Thank
speak
you.
to. So from there, I said, I got to get to know this guy. Let's go have lunch. Let's sit down, talk to each other. And when I do lunch with other professionals, we don't talk professional stuff because I already know what you do. You know what I do. I want to get to know the person, the human being that is behind the professional.
Yeah, the work ethic's the same, what you guys do, and you're busting it every single day. You're in it every single day. Like I said, you're driving neighborhoods. You know the neighborhood. When you find that kind of relationship, it's special because you already have the work ethic thing down.
Yep.
Now you want to see if you really want to get to know that person, and if does Mario like sports?
The truth is, though, that relationship, it makes it cohesive for the buyer. At the end of the day, the buyers and sellers are the ones who are getting the better experience.
Definitely.
And that's what I like about it. It's not even the agents, whether or not they're best friends or even they know each other. But at the end of the day, that relationship sort of does roll over into the buyers and sellers.
Definitely. Like I agree on that part. Like relationship, it's my main thing. I always... When I talk to any client, I tell them, you know what, you're not just a real estate transaction to me. I'm looking forward to know you. Like I'll make sure to call them on their anniversary. So after 1 year they're staying in the house, I'll give them a call. Hey, how's everything? Do you need anything from me? I try to call them on their birthday too.
Okay.
So I send
Reach
them,
out.
reach out, let them know if they need anything, because right now, even after my closings, I find my clients calling me back. What they ask me about, hey, do you know any painter? Do you know anything? So I have all these list of preferred contractors, I can, share with them if they want
share,
to.
right? Great stuff. That's a great way to hook up people. All right, we're up against a quick break. When we come back, we even got Mike Tomchek, our appraiser that comes down once in a while here. So tons of information to share with you. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Welcome back to the show, 946 if you're just joining us. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Call us at Capital all week long, all weekend long. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. You're going to save a ton of money. Not only that, you're going to learn what the process is all about. We'll show you how to do it the right way at Capital Mortgage Funding. Go into your purchase transaction with a ton of knowledge. The knowledge gives you the confidence to make the right offer. And I'll tell you, we make more successful homeowners than most. Call
Why
Capital.
are you smiling over there, Ronnie?
Do you like that, Ronnie?
That's a great mood.
Call Ronnie.
Ronnie likes being in the studio.
That's right.
He's on Facebook Live right now.
You're
Look.
just so happy, buddy.
Hey guys, I want to throw this out there because it keeps popping up. And again, we do a great, I'll tell you, we just do a great, phenomenal job on mortgages all around. But one of the things I've always had my hand on, typically each month, I'll get land contract payoffs. And it's real sticky out there. I had a call this week that I wanted to bring up because anyone listening out there, again, if you have a situation where you're borderline, you're having trouble getting a mortgage, be sure to call Capital Mortgage for two reasons. We may confirm that you can't get a mortgage now, but more importantly, we're going to set you up so that you can get a mortgage here maybe next year, the year after that, because like any contract, there's terms. And I spoke to a gentleman this week, and he called me. He says, "Hey, I don't have to pay it off till July." Well, he was more of an FHA borrower. If I'm gonna improve his credit score and his ratios and get them all fixed up, he's an FHA borrower. Problem is, he has a land contract on a condominium that's not FHA approved.
That's a huge problem.
And I'm telling you, there's a lot of families out there that run into these things, and they don't have to. They just have to get more professional people, and that's why I urge you to call Capital Mortgage, 1-800-LOW-RATE.
Well, everything isn't about today. We try to set people up for success in the future. We'll work with you if you have some credit challenges. Alex Nafusi has this awesome credit software that he can actually get your over time now. If you owe money and you're not paying it, you can't get that off your, let's say this, you cannot get that off your credit record.
Right.
However, over time, with on-time payments and a plan, your credit score is going to go up anywhere from 10 to 40 points. Alex does that as well as everybody in our office. We do that on an ongoing basis. But the bottom line is we try to work with people over time and make them successful and advise people on making right decisions.
Well,
Welcome back to the show, 946. I'll tell you, if it stays dry outside, this feels like definitely high school, college football. Feels like a football Sunday. By the way, the Lions are playing tomorrow night, if you didn't hear.
Going.
Awesome.
Yep.
Tomorrow night, Detroit bringing it home.
My
Hopefully
wife's going to make her one and only appearance for the year.
Oh, down at Ford Field. Awesome.
Ford Field, we're going to go out.
Right.
We're going to take another couple.
All right.
Jay and Becky are going to go with us.
Sports back in
You know
Detroit.
Jay and Becky.
I know those folks. Yes, I do. Awesome. We'll have a
we
great
need a
time.
win. We need a win.
You're going to wear the blue? I think it's a blue out. You wear
I
the
might even
Honolulu?
pull out my Lions stuff. Sure.
Pull it out. All
Why
right.
not?
248-539-9797. We take all your calls here on the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Again, we're brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. That's where you can find James Lutz, Harvey Fried, and Harry Glantz all week long, along with our fine staff. I'm telling you, folks, come and meet us. Sit down with us. You're going to love the experience. It's been 24 plus years that I've been with Capital, and I'll tell you, James, I know you've been with us just recently, and it's
I love it, guys. I absolutely love it. I wake up every day fortunate to have, and people don't understand. I thought about on the way here is it's the simple things from the owners of the company, all the other owners of the companies I work for. They're not there working hard, supporting you every day with their door open. These guys are.
That
means a lot. That means a lot to a loan officer.
I like
all
that
I
a
got.
lot. Mario, you bring a lot of great information with us. Hey, let's roll off, Mario. We're gonna our appraiser that sometimes we have on the show. Mike Tomczak's on the line right now, calling in from Troy. Mike, if you're there, there you go.
Uh-oh, brother. What did we say wrong today?
Hey, Mike. Sorry about that.
Gentlemen.
If I stepped on you, go ahead.
What's up, my man?
Gentlemen, I'm in Milford today, but doing an appraisal. But I will tell you right now, you knew I was going to call in on that complex.
You know I love you.
All right. The complex guy, perfect. Great question. Terrific. Here's the one misconception I think people miss a lot when it comes to the appraisal. You want to reconcile the dominating characteristics. So if it's a complex, unique property, you want to hit if it's lakefront, if it's on a busy road, of course, the style, and if it has a basement. But any of the little items, I heard him mention the brick, but any of the little items, if you can't substantiate it using market data, you can't adjust for it, and it's very difficult to reconcile. So a complex, unique property, if you have a lot of unique features that are not consistent with the neighborhood, they're probably not going to get reconciled because you can't substantiate it using regression analysis or nonlinear regression analysis or something.
These are big words.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
You know, and we try to point that out to people that a lot of things that people do to their house, Mike Tomczak, is that's for their quality of life. I mean, so the crown molding looks good, okay? The man cave they built in their basement with the 29 TV screens and they have their buddies over, you know, that might work for them, but it doesn't necessarily translate to value.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what the caller was kind of alluding to is that, you know, I have this, that, and the other, and it seems like those items aren't being addressed.
Right.
They're probably being addressed in the report, but they're not being adjusted for, and there's not specific line items that are going to give you value for that because we can't do arbitrary values and arbitrary adjustments anymore. It just needs to be substantiated with data. There's no more just making things up anymore.
Hey,
I think that's probably where he's
Hey,
going
Mike,
on
a
that.
cool factor about a property doesn't necessarily translate to value.
No, but it probably will help you sell it quicker.
Right,
So
it'll
it's a
help you sell it.
non-value-added selling feature.
You know, Mike, when I first got in the industry, I think the biggest shock to me was that pools don't bring any value. You know, people are, hey, I got a $70,000, $80,000 pool in the backyard. There's not necessarily any value there.
Not necessarily, but it could be if you can regress it and you can pull value out. I'll tell you right now, if you're in Northwest Livonia and you have an in-ground pool, you'll probably get some value out of it because people will pay more for that in that market.
There
so
you go.
Each market's different, but that's it. That's all I got for you guys. I just wanted to make sure to point out that things are not itemized. If they can't be substantiated with data, you can't just arbitrarily get value.
All right, we'll let you go.
There you
Mike
go, Mike
Tomczak,
Tomczak,
Paramount Appraisals. Awesome. Always interested in hearing from Mike. Thanks for the call. Again, if you have an appraisal out there, you have a situation going on with your mortgage, and you feel like you got some unanswered questions, be sure to call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE. That's 1-800-569-7283. Always here on The Mortgage Show. Here, 248-539-9797. Let's move off to Darren in Canton. Good morning, Darren. You're live on the ticket. Go ahead.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, Darren. Morning.
Guys, reset.
Uh-oh.
We're losing you.
Might have lost you, man. Hey, well, let's put you back on hold, Darren, there, and we'll take some more calls. 248-539-9797. Sorry, Darren, we'll see if you can fix that phone situation there. We talked about appraisals. We talked about a lot of great things here. Inventory, $1 million listings have been dropping, but there are quite a few across Southeast Michigan still. And I'll tell you, there's great opportunities out there. If you're a jumbo, in other words, if you're borrowing over $424,100, be sure to call Capital Mortgage Funding. We have some really select, unique programs, including our 10% down with no PMI. So it's really great opportunities if you're a luxury buyer out there, if you're looking in obviously borrowing a decent amount of money, call Capital Mortgage Funding. You're going to save a ton of money. We get these transactions done in-house about 30 days. Most transactions are closing less than 30 days. Again, anyone out there working with buyers that say there's an approval letter and it may be some out-of-state lender, save yourself a lot of stress and headaches. Come call Capital Mortgage Funding. Deal with some local people here, and you'll get it done the right way. Again, we have some open lines, 248-539-9797. Always want to throw out debt consolidation one more time. So many opportunities out there to add your first and second mortgages together. Again, you can take equity out. Also, paying off land contracts. Yeah. So two things I wanted to point out that is really interesting. If you want to pay off a land contract with a conventional loan, fantastic. Get those great conventional terms. If you qualify for an FHA loan, not only can you pay off your land contract, but you can pull equity out of the transaction. So you could pay off your landlord, pay off your credit card debts, your toxic debt, and walk away with a brand new mortgage. And again, there's whatever your situation was in the past that required you to get a land contract and not a mortgage. Now you can get into the mortgage world and really start building your credit.
Well, and when you do something like that, Harvey, it's always paramount to go ahead and cut up those credit cards. You know, keep one credit card around for emergencies. You need that. Maybe you need it to rent a car, get a hotel room. You need a credit card. These aren't the days where you just have to pay cash for everything. Somebody's going to ask you for a credit card. So I would go ahead and recommend that people tear up that credit card. And, you know, they've saved themselves a lot of hassle, a lot of headache, and a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely.
So why go ahead and recharge that up to the max?
Well, definitely. Yeah, if you keep your balance down to zero and you keep the card open, that can really, or paying down your balances to 10% of the allowable amount that you can use. Those are things you can do to improve your credit. Hey, let's roll out to Chase out there in Wyandotte. Good morning, Chase. You're live on the ticket.
How you doing today?
Morning, Chase.
Morning.
What's up?
Question. Me and my wife looking to buy a home. First-time home buyers are currently renting. We have about $8,000 saved up, and I was wondering if tapping into the 401k is a good idea or not.
How much are you looking to put down? I mean, how much out of that? How much do you have in your 401k? How much are you looking to take out? I'm not a big proponent of it. I mean,
Chase, you might have enough money with $8,000 saved. How much of a house are you guys looking for?
Right around the 250 range.
Okay, that's going to be a little bit on the touch, but you're close. You're definitely close. You again, with seller's concessions, you potentially would probably want to come up with about 3% down. It sounds like, and again, I don't know your situation, but FHA 3.5%, and your allowable seller's concessions up to 6%. Or on the conventional side, 3% money. So again, on a $200,000 house, you need $6,000, and you've got 8. The seller could pay 3% of seller's concessions. Right. You're close. You might only need to get a gift for a couple $1,000s. Yeah. Maybe not even.
And if it's only borrowing a couple $1,000 from your 401k, maybe I'd be for that. But I have to take a look at the whole thing. How much do you have in your 401k right now?
About $30,000.
Okay, so you've been at that job for a while. You've been participating in the 401k and saving in that every single year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. That's good. So if you took a small portion of that, if you took $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 out of it, and you're going to pay yourself back on that, and that might not be a bad idea, but I'd still like to sit down, have Harvey sit down with you and go over it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's very doable. Chase, you're right there. You're the type of guy we would love to work with. Again, we'll show you all your options and give you a real good perspective on it. Maybe the house you find will determine how much money you might need to grab out of the 401k. Right. I mean, if it needs a few more repairs, but the house is going to work for you, maybe end up picking out $5,000 or $10,000 out of there. James, you want to comment on that?
I was just saying you guys did a good job because on a question like that, you need to dig deeper.
Right.
You don't want to call the wrong lender and they're going to give you that quick off the cuff answer. It's not about that. We got to dig deeper and get to know you, your whole situation, what your goals are. A lot in order to help you make the right decision.
Yeah, that's not a simple yes or no question. It's a question where we'd have to really take a look at it and sit down with you, get to know you, and figure out what your goals and objectives are. What I do like is that every year you're putting money in a 401k. Yeah. You're saving for yourself first. It's called paying yourself first. I learned that a long time ago, that you got to pay yourself first, put it away and forget about it. And you're going to have it in 20, 30 years. You're going to have a lot of money in that 401k.
One last thing before that music kicks in. Thanks for the call, Chase. I'm going to follow up with you right after the show, and we appreciate all the callers calling in today on the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Again, one last reminder, don't sign things that you don't understand. Be sure to call your lenders. Be sure to call your real estate agents, and make sure they go over all the fine details. We want to thank Mario Catullo from Keller Williams out at Lakeside, the Lakeside office. Mario, great job.
Thank you.
All right, we're definitely going to have Mario
Great job,
back
Dick.
and all those fine people. Salute to your office out there, Kelly Williams. A lot of great people. I've done a lot of transactions. That's a big office out there in Lakeside.
It's a great office.
Yeah, congratulations to all you folks out there working hard in Macomb County and across Southeast Michigan. Again, we got tons coming up. Michigan State football, Michigan football. Keep it here on 97.1. I want to thank James Lutz for coming in.
Always fun, man.
For
Always
Harry
love being
Glantz.
here.
Awesome, dude. For Harry Glantz, I'm Harvey Freed. We'll see you guys next Saturday.
97.1 The Ticket.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.